Hey, what's going on, everybody? So we actually just got done filming for you guys a video clip for the MR2, answering some of y'all's questions. Hopefully you guys will find it interesting. If you guys want to know anything else about the car, please let us know in the comments down below. I will let you guys know I have been receiving some emails, but I actually answer comments way faster, guys. I get notified if you guys just comment in the video. I answer all the comments. Definitely try and show my support to you guys, because you guys are showing your support to me. Also, there will be a link down below for some merchandise that's got photos of the MR2 on a hoodie. It's gonna be good, along with my logo and at YouTube. So that's us stepping into the merchandise part. I'm not gonna sit there and say you guys have to buy it. If you want to support the channel, that's a great way to do it. So you guys hopefully enjoy it, and thank y'all again for everything that you do. So when it comes to the gauges and the console that you're using, what all are you using?
I've just kind of tried to stick with tried and true. I know there's a lot of good brands out there, but I really use Autometer on everything I can. I have just the regular standard vacuum boost, and then of course a wideband for the O2 sensor in the downpipe. Even for the factory cluster, it was hard for me to find anything other than a boost gauge that would go in this smaller area. I believe it's 43 millimeter. So this is also Autometer brand. It's a little auto gauge, the little tiny that you usually see 3 under the dash. So that has actually been fitted into the stock cluster.
Okay.
It's on its own harness, so I did use a quick disconnect, so that way I don't have to worry about hacking into the factory wiring, because it has its own, it is an electric sender, so it'll have its own source and supply coming from the back. And then for the gauges in the center here, I'm just going to use a single DIN radio. I'm going to be using an Autometer for air temp, as well as another boost gauge. I'm wanting to measure my boost across the double intercoolers. This will be at the turbo, this will be past the second intercooler.
Okay.
So I just want to get a see what kind of a pressure drop I have.
So a question on as to why you chose Lambo doors for the MR2.
Well, so I'm a fat old guy. Here's why. The doors are always in the way. So when they're out of the way, they're not in, I don't get my feet stuck in the speaker. It's easier to get out.
Completely understandable. Frees up a lot of space then, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's awesome. So as for the seats, what did you do with it?
I chose a brand, NRG Solutions. They're fairly reasonable price. They got decent bolstering and support. I like it because it also has the pass-through here, because this will be a fair weather only car with no air conditioning, so that will help. For seat brackets, I did get the mounts. The seats came with the sliders, but the mounts, they are it's just an eBay brand. You can get it. You have your sets of planted, which those seem to sit a little too high. This is another brand that can be found on Composites, their website. They carry both. I am still going to modify it because the seat back still sits up kind of high. So the lower mounting tab that mounts to the floor is actually going to be cut off and welded up higher to bring the seat down, because it still feels like my head is in the roof.
Completely understandable. It's all about the clearance in these cars. Don't have much to work with how tiny they are. So when it comes to wheel and tire setup, what all did you do?
Well, this is probably going to get mixed reviews in the comments, but these are actually Mustang wheels. I chose Mustang wheels because you have a wide variance of offsets from front to rear. This is American Muscle's house brand. It's a one-piece wheel. It's 18 by 8, and anytime you go larger than a 17-inch wheel with a 205/40 series tire, you have to go with aftermarket coilovers, and I have done that. These are K-Sport 26-way adjustable coilovers. The rotors, they are just your standard drilled and slotted power stop, and then of course factory calipers have been rebuilt and just painted just a different color.
All right.
And you want to do the rears.
And what about for the rear setup on these?
The rear, also American Muscle house brand wheel, one piece. These are a 20 by 8, and also same as the front, the matching power slot rotors, factory calipers rebuilt and just repainted. Also the same K-Sport coilover 6-way adjustable suspension.
Awesome. So what happens when it comes to the turbo and intercooler setup you have on here?
Actually, this engine is stock to the car. It is a Gen 2 3S GTE, but it does have the Gen 3 CT20B turbo, so it is considered an upgrade. And for intercoolers, I've seen a lot of guys where they cut out the entire trunk, or they put the intercooler in the back, and I've always had a problem with heat always rises, and you also don't want the intercooler right next to your exhaust. So whether this works or not, in theory, I have dual intercoolers, where as you can see, it comes out of the outlet of the turbo, goes down under the car, goes underneath toward the back to a single intercooler on one side, and all these are just the eBay MR2 intercoolers that are supposed to fit in the passenger side scoop. But okay. So I bought 2 of them. They are 4-inch thick, they're larger, and then there's a crossover pipe. So it is insulated, and it'll be isolated from the exhaust. It will be a center exit exhaust in this diffuser back here. And then out of the second intercooler comes up through the body, and the gauges that I spoke about up there for temperature and secondary boost is a piece of pipe here with everything, all the fittings and sensors in that, and then it goes on up with the U-bend to the throttle body.
That is awesome. Good little setup, and definitely different than what we've seen. Okay, so what about when it comes to the latches here that you have, and where did you happen to get the hood from?
Okay, the hood is an Extreme Dimensions brand. The style is called a border style, where it has the heat extractors. If you remove the slam panel, it sits above the radiator, so it does help in removing some heat from this area. It's not it's not like a true race car, but it helps some. It's more for aesthetics. The latches, these are Aero Catch brand. These are rated for racing and everything like that. I chose the kind that are lockable, and they work very well. You just have to do a lot of measuring and taping everything up so you don't scratch the carbon. A lot of measurements, make sure your supports will hold the hood. And if any of you have ever had a hood fly up at 70 miles an hour, spend the money.
Completely understandable, because that does happen to my truck as well.